My project is over James Chadwick and John Dalton. So James Chadwick, his early years, he was born in October 20th, 1891 in England. He attended Manchester University, where he caught the eye of Professor Ernest Rutherford. After getting his master's, he went to Germany to study beta radiation under Professor Geiger. And after participating in World War I, he returned to England, where he continued working with Rutherford, and he discovered the existence of the neutron. With the discovery of the neutron, led to the atomic bomb. After receiving funding from the U.S., James was placed as the head of the British mission of the Manhattan Project. He had access to all American research and production facilities of the atomic bomb, and spent a few years in the U.S. and was even present when the U.S. decided to bomb Japan. A few accomplishments of James was that he received the Hughes Medal of Royal Society in 1932, the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1935, and he was knighted in 1945 by King George VI for his wartime efforts. And a bit more trivia. He was married to Eileen Stewart Brown and had twin girls, Joanna and Judith. His hobbies included gardening and fishing. He died in his sleep in July 24th, 1974, and one of his biggest regrets was discovering the nucleus, the neutron, which led to the loss of many innocent lives. So next is John Dalton. He was born in Eaglesfield, England in September 6, 1766. His father was a poor weaver, so he had to help around home with work instead of going to a really good school. He did start teaching at age 12 at the local village school, and by the age of 15 he was helping his brother run a Quaker school in Cumbria. He was born colorblind, and many in his family were also colorblind. He wrote his first scientific paper, Extraordinary Facts Relating to the Visions of Colors, in 1974, and he falsely believed colorblindness was hereditary, but being the first person to research it, the condition was named after him. So his research on gases is a little bit more well known. He was lecturing in Manchester, presenting his research on gases and liquids around 1801. He stated that all gases could be liquefied with lower temperature and high pressure. He also stated that the volume of gas is held constant when in a container, and pressure varies in direct proportion to the temperature. In 1803, he published his Law of Partial Pressures, which is still used to this day. His study of gases made him think about what gases were actually made of. In 1808, after multiple tests, Dalton published Dalton's Law in his book, A New System of Chemical Philosophy. And with his findings, he stated that matter exists as atoms, and atoms of different elements have different masses. Dalton's atomic theory. There are 6 points that I have down. The first one, the elements are made of atoms, which are tiny particles too small to see. The second one is all atoms of a particular element are identical. The third one is atoms of different elements have different properties. Mass are different and chemical reactions are different. Number 4 is atoms cannot be created, destroyed, or split. Number 5 is in a chemical reaction, atoms link to one another or separate from one another. And number 6 is atoms combined in simple whole number ratios to form compounds. So a bit of trivia on Dalton. In 1794, Dalton was elected member of the Manchester Literary and Philosophical Society. By the year 1800, he became the secretary of the society, and by 1817, he was president of the society. He did not marry and remained a faithful Quaker for his whole life. And he had a statue erected in the Manchester Town Hall while he was still alive. He did pass away at the age of 77 on July 26, 1844. He was suffering from a few strokes around that time that was taking a toll on his life and was the cause of his death. And that is the end of the presentation.